design ideas can feel like that search for that perfect recipe. Inspiration can be found anywhere, and a good place to get those creative juices flowing could be at your favorite restaurant.
Hi, I'm Sean Saladino, principal at Saladino Design Studios in Miami, Florida.
And I'm Derek Fleming, managing partner, Red Rooster Overtown, here in Miami. Welcome to Red Rooster. Red Rooster is more than a restaurant. It is a space where culture comes together, music, food, art, an experience that celebrates the diaspora of the African-American culture.
We visit the Red Rooster restaurant and serve up some home design inspiration on today's SoFlo Home Project. Welcome to SoFlo Home Project. I'm Alena Capra. Today we're in Overtown at the historic Red Rooster restaurant, where we're serving up a menu of inspiration of design ideas for your home. Today we have a sampling of stylish spaces that we hope will motivate you to create inviting dining rooms, enjoy meals in a beautiful setting al fresco, add fun details to your home decor, and so much more. Derek and Sean, I'm excited to be here at the Red Rooster today. Welcome to SoFlo Home Project.
Thank you for having
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, so this is a very exciting episode for us. We normally like to focus on home design, but in restaurants, there really is so much design inspiration to be found that I think often when people are enjoying a meal out, they see certain things and they kind of get inspired to bring that into their own home. So I feel like this will be a fun conversation. And we also want to talk a little bit about the history of the Red Rooster itself and the design process.
This is a historic building. Overtown is a historic community within Miami. It was one of the oldest neighborhoods that established the actual charter for the state of Florida and for the city of Miami. And this particular neighborhood used to be a thriving African-American district. Hotels, restaurants, nightclubs, bars, theaters, and this building used to be a speakeasy, a pool hall, and it hosted everyone. I mean, Aretha Franklin, Muhammad Ali, Billie Holiday. A highway was erected in the middle of it, and it really sort of decimated the neighborhood. And the CRA brought me and my partner, Marcus, in, my other partner, Michael, to look at this as an opportunity to revitalize the district.
Now, being this was a historic building, sometimes designing in historic buildings have a set of challenges.
The project was one of the most exciting projects we probably worked on in our office just because of the history and how you kind of immersed and became part of the story. If these walls could actually speak, how incredible it would be to be brought back in time and to try to recreate that as best as we could. And ultimately, at the end of the day, that's creating a new and unique style. And I think that was very important for this restaurant. It was to be different, be out there. You know, if you've ever seen Marcus loves to be out there with the way he dresses, and that was like kind of
reflective in the interior.
To have that energy, have that color, bring that vibrancy.
At the end of the day, you want it to feel of place and feel connected, and you want the community to embrace it. We've literally had people come in and just tears well up in their eyes because of the sense of pride of what this building represents, what the neighborhood represents. The neighborhood felt pretty proud, pretty good.
That's amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
And now the decor has a feeling of not only vibrancy, but coziness as well.
So all of the pieces in here were designed with the intention of feeling like furniture, but feeling like someone's individual home.
Right.
So, the backside of banquettes and everything was added super, detail driven, with the caning and the elements, and a lot of the fabrics here are not traditional, what you would expect in a restaurant.
Right, you're thinking vinyls and these are
very, very expensive fabrics.
In home design, we put a lot of banquettes in. They're great. Sometimes a lot of those tend to look like your basic restaurant banquettes. What I love here is I look around the dining room. This does feel like a home. And this was built in, designed probably prior to 2019, 2020.
Yes.
I mean, I just went to the furniture market. I'm seeing all this caning and detail. This is way ahead of its time, ahead of the curve, such elevated and beautiful design.
Even when you think about, the doors, and you think about sort of the way that this speaks to a formal dining room, like in a Southern home. So all of this arching, and we were very intent on making sure that it felt warm, and like the symmetry of it was not, harsh. That it just felt like someone's, like your auntie's home.
Yes.
I want you to pick up on the floor at some point, even the terrazzos. And this was something that Sean really educated me on, is the importance of the terrazzo in Miami design.
Yes.
Right? And there was a very distinct decision to say, like, we want to make this, quintessential Miami.
Yeah.
So for us in restaurants, the floors are very important. Most restaurateurs are not as savvy. They say no one's ever going to look at the floor. It's dark. We don't care. But for these guys putting this together, the whole picture was important, from the floors to the ceiling to the walls. And it's the details that really changes things. And especially in someone's home, you don't have to spend a lot of money. You just have to be creative with it.
We always say, like in home design, we start with the floors first. It's setting a palette, it's setting a look. So we've got a lot of different moments, feeling like walking into different rooms. And we're going to check out the more private dining space behind us, which looks equally amazing. So stay with us to check that out. Next, we have fun looking for some home design inspiration in cool, loungy spaces on SoFlo Home Project. Up next,
today we're going to show you beautiful windows that we've done to this home. Come see this incredible installation on this beautiful home.
Up next on SoFlo Home Project. Welcome back to SoFlo Home Project. I'm Alena Capra, and we are continuing our tour of the Red Rooster restaurant here in Overtown with Derek Fleming, one of the managing partners of Red Rooster, and Sean Saladino of Saladino Design Group. Sean and Derek, we've gotten to see the main dining area, but behind these two beautiful doors, we find this private dining space, which is a different experience. Vibrant, colorful, lots of pattern.
So it was very important in this room to create something that could be a private experience. And, this experience was kind of created to feel like someone's dining room at their home. So you could have these, great private parties, birthdays, special events, to feel like you're at your grandmother's house or your aunt's house.
Got the Miami vibe.
Yeah.
Definitely got a little Miami in here.
Yeah, well, there was a balance to strike, It's definitely important to capture that Miami-ness. We wanted the private dining room to really be, again, warm, comfortable, elevated, but also to be a conversation. When you're in here, to be able to look around you and your eyes to sort of take you to a place. When we all talked about these, this cabinetry and what it could feel like.
Behind each piece, everything has a significance that all fits together. We got bold colors. We have a lot of tropical prints in the rest. Here, the animal print with the flocking. I'm a huge fan of flocking and just the texture it gives.
In this particular room, we wanted this to be the fun room, the kind of the funkiness of what it is. So we added a lot of elements, knowing that there was going to be a bunch of incredible art in the space. We actually went out to a very well-known muralist and had him hand paint this mural on the ceiling. It's an important element. It's something you can do in your own home.
Right.
And then the wallpaper, which is Derek's favorite.
Something tells me you might not like
He grew it a lot.
This is the Aretha-ness, right? So this is, because we have the stories of this building, right? And so of Aretha and Muhammad Ali coming into the space. And so if you imagine them on a date, like, what would Aretha be wearing?
And now you've embraced it, which is amazing. And it looks so good, and paired with the red and then the tropical. I love it. Now I want to talk about the dining table, because we think about private dining. And in the home, the dining tables seem to be getting larger and larger, whether it's indoor or out.
Yeah, so it's an actual tree, and it's a live edge tree. that a local artist, furniture maker, fabricator did for us. It was something that we chose, and I think it works very well in the room.
And this is beautiful. I think about maximizing the room. It's inspiring for our viewers to bring this look to their own home. And I love the way it's juxtaposed with the velvet. I love a little velvet, obviously. But when I'm in here, it just feels like a really cool dining room in a home of someone who has a lot of great style, too.
Everyone gets drawn to it and becomes a favorite space in the restaurant.
I can imagine. Well, there are some more spaces that I'm sure are others' favorites, a lot to see. I'm going to continue taking you through the iconic Red Rooster here in Overtown. But before we do that, let's check in with the team from USA Windows and Doors and see what great advice they have for us today.
Hi, this is John with USA Windows and Doors, and this is Hugo. And today is going to tell us about the beautiful windows that were installed here.
This is a beautiful, huge house with more than 50 windows and 20 doors. And what we did is we maintained the colonial look because the customer wants everything looks the same. We use AS windows, we use Elite line. And another thing is that we use the energy savings technology knowing in all the house. So now the customer is going to have a cooler house and a great view. And also what we did is we maintained all the mullions. That's an extra job that we did for this house. We replaced all the wood backs that are in the opening. We rebuild the stucco, we rebuild the drywall, and also we repair all the rotten wood that we find in each opening in this house. Now we have to pass for inspection from the city. So the inspector is going to come here and see all the material and screws that we use. After we have the approval, then we cover everything when it's stucco, and the customer, the only thing that he has to do, he has to paint, and that's done.
So if you're also ready to upgrade your windows to Impact Windows and Doors, call USA Windows and Doors today.
Or go to usawindowsanddoors.com.
Now we're in the bar area, and again, a different moment, a different change of scenery. Earlier, we talked about the floor. The terrazzo, here it's a different terrazzo than the other room, different mix of colors. And this detail,
it really sets the tone into Sunburst. It's to bring that sunshine. Lots and lots and lots of hours went into figuring out how to make this floor work.
Well, it was definitely worth it. As a designer myself, I could appreciate this. I mean, it's an unbelievable look and vibe. And then we're seeing a lot of fluting on the front of the bar. This sort of fluted wood, another huge home design trend right now that, again, way ahead of the curve, looks amazing.
The front of the bar with the fluting was just kind of something to kind of give it a little bit more of movement to the front of the bar and have a little bit different a material that kind of tied into the floor.
With all of the terrazzo that sits on the floor here could easily become this like kind of cold experience.
Right.
But the color and the sort of the palette of the terrazzo with the wood, with the brass, you know, that all starts to create this warmth, right? And wanting the place to feel. When you walk into someone's home and it's like, oh my gosh, like this is lived in. I feel comfortable here.
Now, speaking of the home experience in a restaurant, I want to point out this piece. I mean, we've got bold wall covering and colors, great curated collections. We've got the caning.
You think about Rooster, you think about the history of food, right? And the African-American history culture. You think about celebrating holidays like Kwanzaa. This used to be a pool hall. So, you know, we celebrate what used to happen here in terms of the activity. So, and then, you know, we really wanted it to be a place where you're coming for lunch, you're coming for coffee, and you're waiting for a friend, and there's a book here. You want to just sort of like grab something and say like, oh, let me check this out while I'm here. So it's experiential, but it's also like when you go to your cousin's home that you haven't visited for a while and you're, you know, waiting for them to get there. You have an activity that you're doing because you're at home.
Yeah.
And just being really intentional and dedicated to the culture, which was what, you know, we were trying to do.
Well, you checked all the boxes. I think it's all of the above. And now we've got so much more to see. We're going to continue touring through the Red Rooster here in Overtown when we come back. Next, we have fun looking for some home design inspiration in cool, loungy spaces on SoFlo Home Project.
SoFlo Home Project is sponsored in part by El Dorado Furniture. Looking to refresh your home? Visit us online at eldoradofurniture.com or a showroom near you.
Welcome back to SoFlo Home Project. I'm Alena Capra, and we are at the Red Rooster in Overtown all day today with Derek Fleming, one of the managing partners of Red Rooster, and Sean Saladino of Saladino Design Group, who worked on the design of the restaurant. So, Derek and Sean, we saw the dining spaces downstairs. We saw the bar area. We saw the private dining room. But now we go up this beautiful staircase adorned with all sorts of newspaper and magazine clippings and like this amazing place to transport us to the pool hall at the top.
You will always have a representation of the greatness, of the excellence that this neighborhood represents by coming into this space. So every single person that comes up gets a reminder of what used to happen here and what's possible. Yeah.
Such an amazing way to connect it all and celebrate.
Absolutely.
When you come up here, it just feels cozy. It feels like a place you want to kick back, relax, have a drink, play some pool.
This was an homage to what we felt Clyde's probably looked like back in the day. Like, kind of what was that room? What was that experience? You know, you had all these very well-known, very famous African-American celebrities, and what would be a room they'd want to hang out? You know, it has that imperfect, perfect style.
Yes.
You know, it's not meant to be very well organized and perfectly detailed. It's meant to feel authentic.
When you think about it, here in Florida, we can't have the basements, but you've transported the basement upstairs, and it gives you that same feel. I also want to point out the upholstered bar, the diamond tufted leather look. Almost brings in that man cave kind of feel too.
Yeah, well, you know, if anybody has been in a dive bar and a pool hall late at night, you know, things get a little sloppy, they get a little messy. So we need surfaces that are easily cleanable. You can wipe things off of.
That'll be it, yeah.
And it was really kind of traditional.
People want to have an experience, Sean was saying, that is authentic.
Yes.
And so it's not about giving them these jewel boxes. It's about creating these spaces that feel relevant and connected for them, right? We can create a space that is an elevated uncle's basement, right?
Now, the outdoor spaces are a whole other experience here at the Red Rooster, and there are some cool things that you did out there, and we're going to show you some great outdoor space design when we get back. Coming up next, we take things outside for design inspiration al fresco on SoFlo Home Project. Welcome back to SoFlo Home Project. I'm Alena Capra, and we are continuing our tour of the Red Rooster restaurant here in Overtown with Derek Fleming, one of the managing partners at Red Rooster, and Sean Saladino of Saladino Design Group that worked on the design here of the restaurant. So when you're working on a space and you're kind of bringing a little bit of the feel of the indoors out, what stays, what changes, what do you consider?
So the one thing that we decided that could not go no matter what was this tamarind tree here.
As we were developing and, you know, starting to look at the area, people would come by and look at this tree and say, please do not get rid of this tree, right? And I used to climb that tree and hang out and, you know, and so it was very much a part of this community, of this neighborhood. And so it was just like finding a way to not, really to work around it. And again, the elements of the project were always about sustainability, about retention, resilience, and bringing back what was old and making it new again.
We actually designed the roof structure and the roof retractable pergola to go around it, so when it closes, it doesn't touch the tree.
Wow, I love that you were able to keep it here, preserve it, and then build around it in a way that brings great design too, and function.
The idea was that it would be dining, but also very, very casual and interactive. And so this feature was something I thought was just incredibly creative.
I can't imagine how many more people this will see.
What's great about this too is that you can sit here, but you can also sit up on the back edge. So it becomes kind of stadium-like.
Yes.
And it really kind of creates an area in the back where people can kind of huddle and rent and kind of create their own little vibe back here.
So such a great fusion of color and texture and patterns, so much of what we saw in the interiors. And this has been so much fun. And I thank you both for spending some time with us today and showcasing the Red Rooster here in Overtown.
Thank you, thank you.
Thanks for coming in and and sharing with us. We had a good time sharing with you.
Oh, this was a fun day. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And now let's take a look at what design inspiration we have for you next week on SoFlo Home Project. Next week on SoFlo Home Project, get inspired to let your decor style shine through. We tour a beautiful townhome that's been completely updated by the homeowner who wanted a home that fit her personality. And before we go, let's check in with Hunter Franke, the host of SoFlo Health, and see what he's up to tomorrow. Hunter, what's going on?
Hey there, Alena. We're at Frost Science this week on SoFlo Health. They've got a new initiative to help people with sensory needs. Plus, we head over to a restaurant in Brickell that has some delicious, healthy seafood that you can enjoy tomorrow on SoFlo Health on the one and only Local 10 at 12:30.
Thanks, Hunter. That sounds great. We will definitely be watching. And to our viewers, we thank you for joining us this week. And we hope to see you again next week for another all-new episode of SoFlo Home Project right here on Local 10. And remember, there's no place like SoFlo Home. If you missed any part of this episode, or if you're looking for more design inspiration, make sure to check out all episodes online at SoFloShows.com. And don't forget to follow us on social media on Facebook and Instagram.